The Ballon d'Or ceremony is going to be held on October 28th, and they just released the 30-man shortlist. Before we get into the shortlist and who I think is going to win, let's talk about the most important piece of this whole thing. It is the end of an era. It's been 21 years since the last time that Messi and Ronaldo were both not on the shortlist. That was back in 2003. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section what you guys were doing in 2003 and how old you were. As I was in 4th grade, I was 10 years old. And if we travel back to the year 2003, just to give you an idea how long these two guys have been dominating the sport, smartphones were not yet common. The first iPhone did not come out until 2007. MySpace was barely starting to gain popularity. That's by far my favorite social media platform. The fact that you could go in, copy a bunch of text, and all of a sudden you had the coolest background out of all your friends. The drama that you started when you chose your top 8 friends. It still surprises me that MySpace did not succeed. But anyway, PS2 and Xbox dominated the market, which they still do. However, GTA Vice City was popping back in those days. The coolest way to spend your summer was to take a stroll through Vice City. Britney Spears was in her prime, and Kmart was everywhere. A lot of you guys probably don't even remember Kmart, but it was Walmart and Kmart, and it's been such a long time since I've heard the word Kmart anywhere. So that's how long this back and forth competition between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi has gone on. I've always been a person who never engaged in the debates which one was better. I simply thought we needed to appreciate the two as long as we possibly could because it was not going to last forever. And I don't think in the past we had ever seen the sport be dominated by two people. I don't think we'll ever see it again in the future. Some interesting stats of the Ballon d'Or award. Lionel Messi obviously has the most. He's got 8 in total. Cristiano Ronaldo in second place, who has won it 5 times. The oldest player to win the Ballon d'Or was Stanley Matthews, who was 41 years old. In the very first year of the Ballon d'Or, 1956, when he played for Blackpool. The only goalkeeper to have ever won the award was Lev Yashin in 1963, although we've had some goalkeepers come close since then. Gianluigi Buffon came in second in 2006, and Oliver Kahn came in third place in 2001 and 2002. My personal favorite winners, I was a huge fan of Andrei Shevchenko back in 2004. That was in the glory days of my FIFA dominance when I would play with AC Milan, and Andrei Shevchenko would literally score every time you took a shot with him. The other one was Ronaldinho in 2005. I'm glad that Ronaldinho won the Ballon d'Or because he was the only player, for me at least, in the history of football, that when you watched him play, he made you feel a certain way. I remember you could go to the store, pick up a box that said Joga Bonito on it, and inside there was the golden fade ball. There was a DVD that had loads of Joga Bonito footage, and it also came with chalk, so you could go out into your driveway and draw the pitch. That was also around the time that Ronaldinho's commercial came out, where they gave him the suitcase with the golden boots, and he started juggling, hit the crossbar a couple times, and I just remember how awesome that commercial was. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was the first video on YouTube to get 1 million views. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody look up the data and let me know in the comment section, because I believe that's right. Then there's also players I wished had won it. Thierry Henry in 2003, he finished second to Pavel Nedved, and he finished third in 2006. I think Thierry Henry, with everything that he's won in world football, the only thing that was missing was the Ballon d'Or. And I definitely think there was a span of time between 2003 and 2006 that he deserved to win it. The other one is Virgil van Dijk in 2019. Absolutely dominant in every aspect of defensive football. Didn't have a single player dribble past him, and I think he was by far the best defender in the world. I still think he is, to be honest. I think the fact that the Ballon d'Or winner is typically given to a striker is unfair, and I think they need to change the criteria to make sure that it can be won by defenders as well, and not just the players further up the pitch that can get more statistics. So before we move on to my top 3, let me know in the comment section down below, is there someone that you wish would have won it, or someone that should have won it and you think was robbed? Because you guys know there's a lot of politics when it comes to these awards, so much that oftentimes people have said that they're starting to lose their credibility. So who's got the best chance of winning it this year? These are the players that I think are going to finish at the top. Coming in at number 3, Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham had the best start to the 23-2024 season campaign. I think he was undoubtedly the best player in the world. And I think if we were talking about the first half of the window, Jude Bellingham would by far have won that award. I think the only reason that he's not going to win it is because he lost to Spain in the final of the Euros. And that's mostly because Gareth Southgate's tactics completely screwed him. I think while he scored some important goals in the Euros, could have been a lot better had England had a better manager than Gareth Southgate. And the other reason is the guy who I think is going to win it was on that Spanish national team. But coming in at number 2, Vinicius. Vinicius won La Liga, Supercopa, and the Champions League, and he scored the second goal in the final of the Champions League. I think the more you win with your club and your national team, the higher chances you have of winning the award. And Vinicius not only performed in La Liga, but he was a huge part to Real Madrid winning that Champions League. And I think the Champions League alone carries the same amount of weight as the World Cup when it comes to voting. But going back to what I said earlier about defenders having an unfair disadvantage, I do think that also applies for certain other positions on the pitch, one of them being the holding center mid position. You're not high enough up the pitch to get as many assists or as many goals, and you're also not credited with a lot of the defensive statistics. However, I think this player has been absolutely instrumental in Manchester City and Spain's success, and that is Rodri. Rodri won the Euros with Spain, the Premier League, the Club World Cup, and the UEFA Super Cup, and he was a huge part of why it all went so well for Pep Guardiola. He went on a 74-game unbeaten streak with Manchester City. It was a total of 475 days, and it ended when Manchester United lost in the FA Cup to Manchester United. He didn't lose a single game in the Premier League last season. He was suspended for all 3 of City's losses, and he didn't lose a single Champions League game, technically, because Real Madrid beat Manchester City in penalties, not in regulation. I still see a lot of Rodri haters out there, but you cannot deny the fact that when Rodri was there, Manchester City did not lose. And I think the influence he had as the number 6, the holding center mid, should not be overlooked to someone who just has a few more statistics as far as goals and assists. So let me know from this 30-man list who you guys believe are the top 3 and who you think is ultimately going to take the prize of the Ballon d'Or winner in 2024, the first year since 2003 since Messi and Ronaldo are no longer on the 30-man shortlist.